Hey everyone, I'm back here. I'm going to be showing you some really beautiful paper. In fact, I saved the best for last and didn't have enough time for it, so I might have to do this again. Hopefully we have some people joining us. The paper comes from, the paper is called Flowering Fields. All right, and it has some absolutely gorgeous stuff. So let me show you. I'm sure you don't really want to see little me, so it's going to be a lot better to see looking at the tabletop. All right, here we go. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. All right. So here we go. By the way, if anyone is interested, I have, oh look, I just found something that I needed for last week. Remember that? I was looking for that? Figures. It's so see-through, I could hardly see it. Anyway, my website is youcanstamp.com, and this is probably the last time we would use this host code. If you are interested, for anything under $150, we can consolidate orders, and I can get more free stuff to show you, more stuff, more supplies and all that. This helps show you more and more cool things that you can do. So here's some really beautiful paper, and unfortunately I guess you almost need to back up to see this. This would make a great scrapbook page. That was one thing I was thinking I could do with that. But you almost need to like back up to see that whole thing. This is my absolute favorite, and I didn't have time to make something with that, so I'm going to have to come back and do that. Love this. Very warm. This was awesome too. Just like a simple polka dot. Here are lots of pretty rows of flowers, just like you'd find in Holland. And then this one, which are also more colors that I think are great together. And then, of course, we have the other side, and we have this kind of impressionistic clouds there. We have a grid with green and more clouds. And this seemed to go with Mango Melody, which is one of my favorite colors. And then this is a nice purple, two different shades of purple here. And this one, all kind of impressionistic, which is why I ended up using the one embossing folder. So, all right, those are the papers. Excuse me. The stamp set I'm going to use today is called Special Moments. And right now Stampin' Up! Is offering a promotion. It's called Celebration. For every $100 or $50, depending, there's two different price levels, you can get a free item. And this is one of the ones for the $100. And it just has so many different great sets of words. In fact, I had a hard time narrowing it down. But, you know, if you were already going to get some things anyway, then this might be a good freebie for you. All right, moving on. So, all right, my first project I wanted to show you involves this pretty paper. All right, and this is the other side of it. Okay. And what we're going to end up doing, I kind of made a 2-for-1 kind of thing. So, I don't know if I should show you the final one. I'll just show you that when I get closer to the end. All right, so there's kind of a lot of steps here. Oh, I was looking for that. All right, so I have, this is the rectangle stitched framelits dies, and there's a lot of different kinds of rectangles, but this was a rarely, I don't know, almost a golden ratio kind of rectangle. And so what I decided to do, I kind of fooled around with it a little bit. I wanted to see, actually cut some post-it notes to see how it would look to make sort of a window, like a a 3-pane window, that kind of thing. At the house where I grew up, which of course some of you that are on here probably know all too well, the room that I had when I was a kid had kind of like 3 windows like this. So I don't know, I just thought that might look cool. So what I ended up doing is I ran this through 3 times. All right, and I wanted to show you kind of a good way to do that. So I'm gonna demonstrate on this one, and I already have one that's done, so I just wanted to show you. So first of all, I think it was, if I found it easier to, I know I'm a nerd, my husband doesn't like measuring things, but I do. It's to each their own, right? But here I wanted to measure 1/2 inch in here. And then this is just going to be a little guideline. I'm going to draw that lightly so that you can erase that later. And I actually did this the first time on the flowered side, so you really didn't see it much. All right, but here I wanted to be able to see it a little bit. Now I can't fit this through my mini cut and emboss machine. Whoops. So I have to get out my big shot. So forgive me about the massive size of it. I really should, maybe I should pull up a little bit so that you can see. I don't know. I'm afraid I'm going to knock you down on the floor. Yeah, I don't know. This might not. We'll see. This could be a mess. All right, so what I'm doing here, if you can see, I lined that up with the top edge of that, okay? Now, I found it's easier to go through crooked, all right, with rectangle. I have been using this one to cut up, really. Okay, so I'm kind of been going through so that so it hits the corner of it first. That kind of avoids that ka-chunk sound, and I think that it avoids warping it as well. All right, so I'm going to put that down and run it through. Kind of hard from this angle. Okay. And then, so I got that. Now I've got one. I'm going to do a second one over here, about the same distance. You can measure that one too if you want. I'm just going to try to judge about this distance to that side. All right, this particular side has a pattern on it, which kind of helps. Whoops, got a little, my cutting plate's a little bit warped here, so I think that's a lot of what's going on here. I'm gonna squish that down really good. All right, and then one more time through it. I will put that through at kind of an angle. So yay, Julie is here and James is here. Anybody else here is welcome to comment and say hi, because we are glad you're here. And hopefully I will be able to see the comments. Sometimes I can't. And either they're coming in and I don't see it, or I don't know. Sometimes it seems like I can't scroll for some reason. Plus I'm kind of in the middle of something. But I can get a little bit both distracted and way too focused. I don't know. It's just me. Okay, so here I have my little 3-pane window, and I have these little 3 panes. And so what I want to do, you can just flip them over, although then the side of this, there's like these stitched lines. They are a little rougher from this angle. So what I actually did to do this card before is I made 2 of them at the same time. So one I cut from this side, the other one I cut from this side. So all the pieces that were from this flowered side would actually look just perfect in the other. I don't know if that makes sense. It'll make more sense when I start putting things together, I think. So, hi Nancy. Glad you're here too. All right, so this is going to be putting, we're going to use Mango Melody. I don't know why I have such trouble with that, considering I like it so much. This is like school bus yellow or something. I don't know. Just love it. So bright. And yet I like blue too, but yellow's always been my favorite. And this is a little on the orange side. All right, so this, actually I want to use this one. So this is the one that I used originally and has this little line on it. But see how easy it is to fix it. All right, my edges are encroaching. So hey, by the way, I made these cute little butterflies. Don't they look like goldfish crackers? I was like, there's so much like gold. I mean, of course they're not shaped like goldfish, but oh, you know what? I think that bringing this up a bit expanded my work table here. The view of it anyway. All right, so you don't want to see all this junk. All right. Okay, so here I have this. I cut this at 4, which makes it was very efficient because then I could get 6 off of one page. So I am going to. You could use the Stampin' Seal. I think I'm going to actually. I've been using this for this project and it's been pretty good. All right, so what I'm going to do is just kind of. I'm going to actually put that down. These two. All right. And that's gonna go right, whoops, here. Okay, then I'm also going to put right in here these. All right, so can you see the, no, I think I did cut them all the same way. I don't know if you can tell, like the one side, I'm just being picky here, but one is kind of curved, it's more rounded over, and the other one's more sticking up. Not a big deal, but all right, now I'm going to put this in the opposite. So I get to see both sides of the paper at the same time, which I think is pretty cool. All right. So, actually, I should have probably put this one in because it seems like a darker. Can I do it? Oh well, it's already glued on it. Although, yeah, I've gotta. Just because I'm weird that way. A little bit of a perfectionist, but I bet you already knew that. I think last week I had to take something apart too, didn't I? Well, could be worse, right? Okay, so now I have my little 3-pane window, and I've got these beautiful flowers behind it. And I want to have, of course, a focal point. So what I'm going to do is I'm using this, the words that says, where would I be without a friend like you? And I had kind of, that makes me think of someone. a bunch of people, actually. I've got some good friends. One of them, well, not even one. A number of you are online right now with me, so. All right. All right, so I'm going to stamp this in Evening Evergreen. All right, so there I have that. And then this layering circle fits just perfectly there. So I should have run that through before, but I actually used it for a different card. All right, and then, oh yeah, where'd it go? I have this little piece. And because I want to make the word friend have this yellow, the mango background. So I'm going to actually stamp over here. And I'm going to cut that out. Okay. All right, let me move this. All right, so using my paper snips, I'm going to cut off the word friend. And I will cut that here too. Now, I end up cutting things pretty well. I mean, I have a little bit of training in that from my graphic design days, but if you need to use a cutter, by all means, you can do that. If you don't, you can always, it's sort of, I think it's fine to cut it and it be a little bit off. It sort of gives it character, right? All right, so I'm going to cut this kind of far away. The first one I didn't do nearly far enough, so I'm going to do this. So to cut this little flag tail, cut it halfway in the middle, then from the corner, and then from the corner. Okay. And then over here, I'm going to do the same thing. And then cut in from the corner, and cut in from the corner. Boy, you can tell my hands are shaking a little bit. Too much coffee today. I did have at least 2 cups, so. All right, so here it has friend, and then I want to put this one through. I can use my mini for this one. All right, so one thing I found with this one, so this doesn't have a magnet, so I have to be a little more careful. I think that they're working on the magnet plate though, so it's just a matter of time. All right, and then what I end up doing when I line them up exactly on top of each other, I have such a hard time getting it through, so I'm kind of staggering it, if that makes sense. Do you see how one's more of an inch off from the other one? It really seems to help. I don't know why that is, but that is the case for me anyway. So if you're having trouble with that, I would try staggering that a little bit. All right. So here I have, where would I be without a friend like you? And I also, this is layering circles, so these two go together. Now, this makes me think so much of an Oreo cookie. I'm going to have to do something with that, but that's a different day. So, all right, I'm going to put that on top of it. And put that on top. All right, so then where'd my friend go? Here it goes. Okay, so this is going to go on top of it like this. And I kind of actually made that stick out way more than I needed it to. So maybe I will cut it down a little bit. It does seem kind of long here. All right, so let's try that again. Take 2. The first one I did was not nearly, that's double negative, I think, but it was not long enough at all. All right, so I guess I went a little overboard compensating for that, but Now watch this be too short. So, no, that's not bad. All right, so that is going to kind of stick out on either end. I'll put that right across. So that's one way to kind of highlight it, a word, an important word, right? This would be the most important word of this saying, I'd say. Okay, so this is okay like this, but you know, I like to use things, some non-paper embellishment sometimes. And I got this absolutely beautiful ribbon. It's soft succulent and it's satin. And I was very excited. It was on back order for a little bit, so I finally got it though. So what I want to do is, I was thinking about almost like a ribbon, but then I felt like it was a little bit not going anywhere, so I kind of tipped it on its side. So it's kind of, you know, you always read from top to bottom, left to right. So I thought I would make it literally help points the way. So here I'm going to cut that. That's probably even longer than I need it to be, but that's so shiny and pretty. So it'll be something like this. All right. However, I want to put this on, and so what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this to help to attach the ribbon. See if I get enough of that on there. All right. So if I lay that down, now I'm going to actually pop this up with dimensionals, but I want to get this ribbon basically where I want it to be. So that looks about straight, right? All right. So there I have that. All right, I think I could probably help that stay down a little bit. All right, now I want to put dimensionals on it, and I had those handy as always, disappearing on me. I have big ones. I guess we'll use the big ones. I wanted to use the minis, but well, they had not helpful. All right, so let's take these off. Wow, this one's taking longer than I expected. I have 2 more cards to show you. All right, so here you know, if you remember the rule of thirds where if we cut it in thirds this way and then we cut it in thirds this way, wherever they would cross, if you can imagine these imaginary crisscrosses, that you would have one right around here, okay? And that's where you want to put your focal points, okay? In any of those 4 corners, basically. All right, so this is where I'm putting mine. Now, I still want something else. These are a little bit plain, so I want to put something in them. So what I did, I have, this is called Nature's Thoughts Dies, and one of the ones that are in there is this teeny tiny little butterfly. Okay, so I ran that through with the gold foil paper. Okay, and I cut out this little butterfly. I actually cut 2 of those out. Okay, so this is almost like, you know, like a rule, like this rule of thirds. There's rule of threes. Or an odd number anyway. It's best to have an odd number. So I have like 1, 2, 3, sort of, if you want to think of it that way. But I also want to have, we have these new brushed brass butterflies. Blah. Say that more than once. That makes, well, I can't even say it once. So it's really cool because I actually went to this virtual convention and I got these for free, which I was very excited about because I liked these from the very beginning when I saw them. Okay, so what you can do There's a little bit of adhesive on the back, and you can pick these up. So let's see, I think you could put these anywhere. Of course, I always like that scaling triangle plan, which I talk about all the time, which, you know, I totally made up. So at least nobody told me about it, but I feel like it's a thing. I really do. All right, so that is popping out of the frame a little bit, and then this can pop out of the frame over here. And then I want a few of these. Okay, so let's see. Let's take one of these and we'll put it, let me put one right here. Except there. There. We could do a little bitty one. There's just a little bit of metal here. Let's see. Some, you know, to fill up this space a little bit. And I'm going to do 3 of these as well. Let's see, where should I do that? A little bit spaced evenly, which is not usually how I like to do it, but let's see, he's flip-flopping around. Well, if I were to do this scaling triangle thing with these, they'd probably be somewhere like that. Or okay, that's okay. All right, so there is some shiny bling, if you will, and this is shiny too, and hopefully, and it uses this beautiful paper. So here is the reverse. That's what I was trying to talk about. Okay, so here I've done the reverse paper. Okay, so these are the ones that I cut out of there, and vice versa. Okay, so hopefully you like that. Learned a couple things there. All right, so the next card, shove it all off the side here. All right, the next card I have has this beautiful paper. So I had big plans for this. I was going to cut it out so that it looked like it was coming out of the picture plane, which basically, I don't know, it would have worked, but probably not as well as I had hoped. And when it came down to it, it's just such a pretty paper. So I'm like, I'm just going to cut a 4x4 piece of that. So then to have my focal point, I picked out some words, and then I saw an example of a card. I don't even know where I saw it, but I did a little thumbnail sketch. So this is what I like to do. So this one, if you can see that, this was kind of the reverse. So here I drew this little tiny picture here. Can you see that? Here's my thumb. It's almost exactly the size of my thumb. All right, so I have a piece behind it, and then we have some kind of words, and then it's all on a different background. So I like to do these little sketches of cards that I've seen, and you can see I'm even changing this up from what I saw, because that was more of a vertical card that was opening because it had a ribbon that goes this way. Anyway, I've changed it all up. So here, but the basic idea, the basic design is going to be something like that. Okay, but I really like this paper, or the color, this, what's it called? Petal Pink. And I had some cardstock right here. Oh, it's on the floor, of course. So I just thought that was so pretty. And I almost used it for the card back, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to use it for the words. So I stamped, let's see. So I thought this was so nice and bright, and so I decided to say, thanks for brightening up my day. And that made me think of this week, or last week, I should say. I was a weird situation, but I had to work with an accountant who helped with the payroll taxes for my one job. And for some reason, my brain was just not working. However, strangely enough, I understand furnaces now. It's so bizarre. Anyway, the lady who was helping me out, I felt really bad because I found out that she used the wrong Social Security card or Social Security number. So she had to like redo it at the very last minute. So I explained to her how I understood furnaces now, but not that. And so she wrote back, she's like, thanks for making me smile. So I know I was being very silly. But it's true. So here I put this on. So these are two different label dies right here. And they are both from this Poppies dies. Painted labels dies, sorry. It does have labels in it. But it went with the Poppies stamp set. And I was like, I don't know that they intended to do those together, but they are exactly the same proportion, really, of the rectangles. So I'm like, all right, let's just stack them. But now I looked at this. Thanks for brightening up my day. Well, it didn't feel that bright here. So I wanted more contrast. And if you remember, contrast is the difference between excuse me, two things, and particularly value. So what I have here, I decided to, the lightest background that I could do, of course, would be white. And this is Poppy Parade, is this version of red. Sorry, my nose is just... I've been trying to find my Valentine's Day folder. It is completely gone. I've been trying to go through all my other weird places, and I think I've stirred up a lot of dust doing that. Which, of course, makes me sneeze, because I'm allergic to dust mites, among other things. So, here I'm stamping this, thanks for brightening my day, on something very light colored on the back, so white in this case. Nope, got ink on me. Okay, so what I ended up doing is I ran this through, and I probably could do that just to show you. Alright, so this fits nicely. This label fits quite a few of the ones in this stamp set. I had a lot of good choices, honestly. So, like, just a card to say you're amazing, with sympathy for someone who's so wonderful, is wonderful in each and every way. Those all fit perfectly. Some of these other ones were a little bit smaller. This one was too big, but everything else, it was very good. So, but this one, like I said, made me think of that lady, Denise, and I was glad I could make her day. How even as silly as it was, I was actually worried that I made her mad, so I'm glad I made her smile. Alright. So, now I have this little version here. It's amazing what a mess I make here. Alright, so here I have this, and I could put this on instead. It's okay, but then I really like that color, right? So I figured out a way to include both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this one, but I'm going to actually cover up the words, because what I'm going to do is do you see there's a little groove in that? It's pretty faint, but you can cut that. If you cut right on that, I actually cut it a little bit too far in. But if I cut that off all the way around, and you can just imagine I did this, and here I have one. And here, when I put this on top of the petal pink one, you can see now I have a little kind of petal pink frame. See how nice that looks? Okay, so I'm going to attach that, hiding the other set, my first set of words. So, okay, so there. And then I'm going to pop this up. But before I do that, of course, you know, I like to have some kind of non-paper embellishment. And you know what, might as well put this on while I'm thinking about it. So my non-paper embellishment, I was going to mess around with some white ribbon, but then I remembered that I had this petal pink cotton ribbon. Okay, and it's super soft. It's about, is it a 1/4 of an inch? Might be more of an 1/8 of an inch. It comes with my other favorite color. It comes in a pack with this. This is the Misty Moonlight. And here's the petal pink. So these come together. And they're both really good colors, so, you know, I'm not, I finally have a chance to use it. So, all right, I have already cut 3 pieces. So I wanted to do something a little different because, I mean, anybody can put a piece of paper, you know, do this label. I want to do something different for you guys so that it's worth it watching this. All right, so I'm going to put the Stampin' Seal along the back edge here and here. Now I'm going to do that on the silicone mat because, you know me, I sometimes miss. And that would be, then I get it on the table, all that. So, all right, so here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically make 3 kind of stripes. I'll start in the middle. Okay, oh, I didn't make that very even, but all right, let's see. I'll make this one a little bit better. I'm going to put these relatively close, though, to each other. So it's almost like, I don't know, it makes me think of the jogging suits my mom made us. My sisters, I had 2 sisters that were close in age with me, and Mom made us matching outfits all the time. But one was this, we all had jackets that were the same color, that were kind of close to this color, maybe a little more green. They were quite bright, but we could tell the difference because they had stripes down the side. Mine were purple and white, which is kind of funny because my favorite color is yellow, but and then my sisters had yellow stripes of all things, so I don't know. But Laura's was much smaller than Karen's, so that kind of, but Karen's and mine were a very similar size. Okay. Anyway, that made me think of the stripes down that. I know, tangent there. All right, I guess that was not completely straight, but, or not straight, but like even. But I'm being picky here, so it's a little bit closer to this end. I hope you'll forgive me. I don't think most people will notice. But of course I'm being, what's it called? Perfectionist. Alright, let's do this. And then move this over. No biggie. It wouldn't be a video of mine if I didn't change something, right? Or fix something or make a mistake. So isn't it funny that I'm such a perfectionist and yet I make a lot of mistakes, I guess, really. Okay, so I'm going to put the dimensionals on the back of it. And still not sure what happened to the mini ones because I put them in a safe place. And yet I'm looking at all the safe places and they are not there. So apparently it was, you know, one of those cases of too safe. But that's okay. These big ones are easier to get off, so. And I like to put them about every inch or so for support. All right, so now I'm going to put this on here. Oh, that's right. I think I was going to make that flat. Oh, well. And I'm going to put that right there. So this is, again, the upper right-hand corner, so the lower right-hand corner. And this feels like it needs a little popping up too because of that ribbon that goes. So we'll have 2-layer high. That's okay. I wouldn't make it much higher than that, but I think the post office will squish it if we needed to. That's the nice thing about foam as opposed to like giant pearl or something like that. They do squish better. Okay, so here I'm going to put that right there. I think that looks about even. Okay, so one more thing that I want to do, and I probably should have done this before I put that down because it'll be easier to get the string underneath it, is, let's see, can I do it? I'll put it under this one. Just to be a little contrary, I'm putting it around the third one instead of making it, symmetrical. All right, so I'm putting this under. I want to make a bow. Okay, so I make a loop here, and I wrap it around my tips of my fingers, and then I push a loop through. There. And I'm going to adjust that a little bit. All right, so there. Very cute. You know what? I'm going to cut this more of a... Thanks for brightening my day. Brightening up my day. And that seems very bright and fun and cheerful. So, all right, 2 cards down. 1 more to go. All right, so this one... I hope you find this intriguing. So I wish I had, so I have this beautiful paper, okay, and I'm still, then the background I decided would be, what's this called? Pear Pizzazz. So, sometimes I have a bone folder over here. I don't usually use bone folders, but this one I inherited from Lynn, if you remember. And, oh, here. In my really cool, this, I gotta show you guys. Is Jill on here? Because she made this for us. And I use it, so, but I had this bone folder in there and I forgot where it's supposed to be put away, right? I lost the bow, I guess. All right, so here's the bone folder, and I can use that to make that a nice sharp fold. Now, I did put this through this embossing folder, all right, because this is, this is kind of a painterly look, kind of a plaster painterly look. So I felt like some of these were so, well, of course, neither of these are the ones that look like painters. They painted it. So like this one, it's very painterly. This one. All right, so even though I'm not using those, they seem like they relate. So I thought, let's do this background. I haven't done an embossing folder for a while. So what I want to do, this is 3 inches wide. And what I think I'm going to do, I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4. So it's the same length as the embossed piece. All right, so what I love, I mentioned I love yellow, right? And that just is such a soft, lovely shade of yellow. It's soft saffron, or so saffron, yeah. Soft saffron would go though, wouldn't it? So, and what I had originally planned is to cut this up, but honestly, this is so pretty just as it is. I'm not going to cut it up. So, but I need some words, I need some kind of focal point, and so, yeah, here it is. So, here's a piece of soft, So Saffron. I might have to cover, I have to cover something up. So I think I'll cover up the ones that are already that color, and then that'll balance with that a little bit. The word I'm going to use is with sympathy. Unfortunately, we need too many of those right now. I know I was thinking of sending a sympathy card to our school board president's family, who I know their whole family from growing up with them, but Mr. Kohansky passed away last week, January 31st, I believe. And so I need to send them a sympathy card. So I thought, well, maybe that. I'm hoping this is not too cheerful of a card for being sympathy, but, you know, you send flowers for sympathy. So that's where I was going with that. So if I did that, but then I wanted some kind of flower. And so I saw, here's where the inspiration for this one came from. If I can find the catalog. All right, so this is kind of funny. Doesn't have anything to do with it at all, except for that pretty ribbon. There's that ribbon I was showing you. All right, so look at this card. Okay, so I was going to cut down the tulips down into smaller pieces and have it behind whatever it is. And so I was going to have a flower. I was trying to figure out, sort of still the idea, and then have it standing on the words. And I can still do that. But so you can see I got inspiration from it. It totally looks different. And you can do that too, I hope. All right, so, all right, I was trying to figure out what color to do that with, because I'm going to pull out the two darkest colors would be like this razzleberry, but like purple on yellow might not look so great, which is why I thought maybe I should get this dark green. I don't know. I'm going to try the razzleberry, and hopefully it doesn't look too horrible. But, okay, so with sympathy, I'm going to put this, I'm going to put that over here. All right. So, that doesn't look horrible. That's okay. All right, so what I wanted is some kind of flower, and unfortunately, I did not buy the whole tulip die set because I had to make choices, so I couldn't do it. However, I have the poppy, not the poppies, what is it called? What is that? Peony, the peonies. All right, and this is from a different one. This is a Floral Gallery sets. This is a whole nother one, but I have it already, right? So you could do a lot, but I found that one, so I'm like, so here's what I came up with. So I have that peony one, and yep, here they are. So there's like 5 pieces that nest inside of each other for the peony, but I wanted a simpler flower. Okay, so boy, I got a lot to clean up here. I want a simpler flower. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, I'll do this. I have these 2 pieces. I'm going to put this through, and I'm going to use fresh freesia. How are we doing for time? Oh, like 8 minutes left. All right, so I'm going to cut out these 2 pieces. Okay. And I'm going to cut them down a little bit but they're a great starting point here. Boy, you can tell this is not the sturdiest table on the planet. All right. Very wiggly wobbly. Okay, so here are my 2 pieces, which would nest together for the beginning of the peony. So peonies are really frilly and full, but this kind of made me think of a tulip all by itself, but it's kind of like not complete. So I need like another petal right there, just a rounded one. Okay, so what I decided to do was I'm going to cut this down a bit. I need this petal right here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of cut that off. All right, and then I'm going to put that in here. In fact, I'm going to pop this up from the back. See what I get. All right, so I am also going to cut this little piece off there, and this. And that was a little more than I bargained for, but does that look more like a tulip now? It's very plain though. It's kind of light. So what I'm going to do now is take the rich raspberry and the sponge dauber, which, yeah, that's the problem with making a mess, is then you can't find anything. So, all right. So if I took a sponge dauber that looks like this already has white on it, so I'm not going to do it, but you would get ink on it and do the edges, and then you would end up with one that looks like this. Okay, so I did all the edges, and I did the inside of this here. All right, so I feel like that was a good use of my peony dies. And I didn't have to get the tulip one after all. I mean, if you can afford the tulip one, I would just get that one. It's much easier. But if you can fiddle with something and not feel, you know, if you mess up on one, that's just a little piece of paper, right? You can always cut another one. So don't feel pressure. But yeah, so that's how I used a different kind of flower to make this kind of flower. All right, so now I'm going to put something like this. Okay, so I'll have all that behind it. And yeah, I'll just have a little. I'm gonna cut that like here. Probably should cut that a little bit, a little straighter. That probably made it worse actually, but. And here I'm the one that was talking about cutting with a ruler, or measuring with a ruler, right? Irony. Okay, this will be fine. In fact, if I really wanted to do this, I could line this up with the edge of this, which I know I cut with a cutter. So really, that's pretty much it. Okay, so let's put this together. So hopefully, yeah, a little creative use of supplies you already have, and using this gorgeous paper. And you can tell me if you think this is too cheerful of a sympathy card or not. I will not be mad or anything, so. All right, so put that right there, a little bit offset. All right, then this will go right here. And then, I could have raised that up. Maybe I'll raise up the tulip. Sometimes I make, you know, little edges there, but I'm just going to be simple with this. And then I can do this, something like that. It'd be nice to edge that so it looked more 3D, but I'm running out of time. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, and then I will put these together. You could glue them. I think I'm just going to use dimensionals that are like on both pieces, so that doesn't move around. Okay. That'll pop up a little bit, so maybe I will put a little glue there. Easy to fix. All right, and then I'll take these off. Okay, so here we go. And there we have our tulip. Okay, so and I need a non-paper embellishment, so maybe I'll use this. It's that petal pink again. So let's see. I like the ends here with the putty. Oh, that was a fun sound, huh? All right, so I'll just put some little drops here. I'm going to use that. Let's see. One big one, one smaller one, and just a little droplet on the petal. Let's just do it there. Okay, there we go. So these are the three. I didn't like that on there after all, but okay, so let's recap. Okay, so these are the 4 cards. 3, these are really the same card. They're just kind of flip-flopped. So these are the cards that I made today. I hope you like them. Using this beautiful paper, and I definitely might have to do this again because there's still other things I could make. That one that I love with the purples, gonna have to do something with that. But anyway, I used a bunch of cool products. Some of these are in the mini catalog, which is from January to June. And then the celebration is only through the end of this month, which isn't as long as you think. So if you wanted to get this free stamp set with the words, you know, think about that. That'll be gone at the end of February, if not sooner, I think, as long as supplies last, kind of thing. All right. Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful night and that you enjoyed this little demonstration and that you'll come back next Tuesday. All right. Have a great night. Thanks a lot. Bye.